This video here is very disturbing. There's a lot of things that are going on due to social media trends that we've seen in the past. Some of them have been, stealing school property, hitting teachers, stuff like that. Now, this post here actually came out during the morning hours. Now, I even debated making this, honestly, because I didn't want to give it more credit than what it really needed to be. But with any kind of thing like this going on and there's any kind of threat, I feel like it is a reasonable cause to make a video about it. So, this is not just one state, this is not just one county that is experiencing this. There are multiple states that have received direct threats. Now, law enforcement has said none of these threats are credible, but with that being said, you never know in this day and time. So I'm going to go through some of these. First of all, I'm going to go through some of the states that seem to be more credible threats than others. And then we'll get into exactly what kind of threats were made, how this started, and what kind of action law enforcement is taking, what kind of action schools are taking at this time. But like I said, to start with, some of these schools that are experiencing more direct threats or they feel are more direct threats are Texas is a big one. Multiple schools in Texas have canceled classes or have implemented no backpack policies. Multiple schools in California have completely canceled classes. Whole districts have shut down classes in California. Minneapolis has been another one. New Jersey has came out and recognized the threat, but they haven't said anything about canceling classes or implementing a no backpack policy, but they have taken action. And hey, how are you? Um, and New Jersey's governor came out, like I said, he made a statement on this. But again, none of these threats have actually been made like directly towards the school. These are just the schools that they feel are more in direct threat than others. But like I said, Texas and Minneapolis seem to be the ones that are making the biggest deals out of it. Like I said, Texas has implemented a no backpack policy and also shut down multiple schools today. California shut down multiple schools. Minneapolis shut down a couple schools. Like I said, New Jersey's governor Phil Murphy came out. He made a statement on it, but they haven't shut down schools. So, how did this start? This actually started, according from the information that I have seen, it started as a trend for students to skip school today all across America, and somehow it turned into students shooting up schools across America. Now, this person here said a TikTok used by the name of ENIG Mazel explained that the challenge started as a call for kids to skip school before it turned into something more sinister. Now, as y'all all remember, about 3 weeks ago, we had a school shooting in Michigan where Ethan Crumley went into Oxford, Michigan school and shot those students and that one teacher there. And again, unfortunately, 4 people died there. But again, law enforcement has said multiple times that there is no direct threat, at least in Minneapolis alone. But again, for this to be a widespread thing across TikTok is pretty disturbing. Now, TikTok said that they have launched an investigation and they're working with law enforcement to determine if any of these threats are credible, and they're cooperating with law enforcement. Now, like I said, some schools said they were targeted, but they haven't said how they were targeted. They just feel like they are. Now, the challenge allows you to tell students to call in a shooting threat to the school. Other things have said that they have told kids to actually go into schools with guns. And again, stuff like this is sad that kids will actually start stuff like this. All right. Now, at some point when we were all growing up in school, skipping school, somebody most people probably skip school at some point in their life, all right? But to shoot up a school or threaten to shoot up a school is a whole different thing. All right, so as far as canceling classes, shutting down the schools, I don't see a problem with it. A lot of people are complaining about that, but you never know. All right, you don't know if this person has multiple people and they just plan to go to different states or they plan to go to the same school. You don't know if these people are real. You don't know if this is a kid just trying to get views on a video. You don't know if this is an actual threat. You don't know if this is a fake threat. Again, you don't know what's actually going on when people post stuff like this. Now, again, who's the actual person that started it? That would be one thing that TikTok should be looking into. And again, those states that I mentioned, Texas, Minneapolis, California, New Jersey, they feel like their schools are being targeted more for some reason. Maybe they actually got a direct threat on social media from these schools. I'm not sure. But it's not just those schools. Atlanta schools have also said that they are taking precaution. And again, some parents are mad that they're shutting down schools. Alright, but would you rather your kid be dead or would you rather them shut down schools as a precaution? Alright. And like I said, you got the virtual learning, but if they don't do good with virtual learning, just let them take the day off, alright? There's no need to tell them what's going on. There's no need to tell them, hey, there might be a school shooting. There's no need to tell your kids that. Alright, especially elementary and middle schools. Now, high school, might be a different thing, especially if the schools are open and they're implementing a backpack policy. They're probably going to find out anyways. So, sitting down discussing that with a 15, 16, 17-year-old might be different. But again, to bring an elementary school, middle school student into it is not the best idea. Just keep them home from school, especially if law enforcement has said that there's a more credible threat to this school or in your area. Definitely keep them home. There's no need to bring them there. But with that being said, all across those states that I mentioned, extra law enforcement is on duty at these schools. Now, yeah, I'm not sure if this is for, obviously they can't be in every single school in America. So they're going to take the schools that they feel are more targeted, and the schools that have expressed more fear, they're going to take those schools into consideration, and they're going to go to those schools and remain there throughout the remainder of the day. Now, one state I did mention I forgot to mention, is Missouri. Missouri said their school districts are also on high alert. Now, they haven't canceled classes, but they did bring in extra officers to all their school districts. Now, police officers have assured parents and students that they have found little evidence of any credible threats. Now, the origin of the TikTok challenge is not clear through multiple videos of the app referenced December 17th and school shootings. Now, this person here wrote, "Prepare to hopefully not get shot tomorrow at school," one TikToker user wrote on their video. They go on to say, basically, there was school threats tomorrow, Friday 17th, December 17th for most schools. In a statement Thursday afternoon, TikTok says working with law enforcement to look into warnings about potential violence at schools, but that it did not determine threats to originate to spread on TikTok. So it seems like this started on another app. So, what it seems like is one person or maybe a group of people started this. Whether they are actually serious about these threats or not, who knows. But it seems like they started this and they just spread it through different social media accounts. And obviously when you see something like this, people are going to spread it more and more and more. So it could just be kind of a fear thing, trying to scare people, or it could be the real deal. So again, all these schools that are shutting down, I don't blame y'all. Better be safe than sorry, and again, because you never know. And unfortunately, school shootings have been happening more and more recently. So again, it's not the time to be cautious. It's time to take action and shut down schools, bring in multiple officers, stuff like that. Now, various school districts have sought to reassure parents that no credible threat exists. And like I said, police officers all across have come out and said that. Now, it says, based on law enforcement interviews, Little Falls Community Schools were specifically identified in a TikTok post released to this threat. Now, that's in Minneapolis. So, again, that's one of the schools, I guess, that was confirmed and specifically identified in the threat. That school district is canceled tomorrow, or today. They have canceled school today. In Missouri, the Gaston County Sheriff's Office called a post circulating on social media sites such as TikTok before announcing it was closing its schools the next day. Hey, how you doing? Alright, let's see. Alright, Kaufman High School in Kaufman, Texas, they're canceling classes on Friday too after they got a direct threat in line with TikTok trend. Owensville High School in Gaston County is another school closing its doors after they received direct threats. Yesterday, Thursday, in Gilroy County, or Gilroy High, said it was closing down schools on Friday after it was determined that a social media post thought to involve Gilroy High School had actually originated out of Los Angeles. I'm doing good. The post turned out to refer to a school outside of Los Angeles, with the district adding that it was deemed not to be a credible threat. Meanwhile, Kaufman High in Texas said it got a threat in line with the December 17th trend. Let's see. The threat did not include a specific time, but was specific to a date, December 17th. This falls in line with national TikTok trend threatening to coordinate violence at schools on December 17th. Let's see. And like I said, it started out as kids supposedly skipping school, but it turned into this somehow. Let's see here. Alright, so this TikTok person here wrote, says it's a student at one school, but it doesn't say what school. Obviously, even if it did, I wouldn't put that in there. But she goes on to say, apparently it turned into, instead of skipping school, you're supposed to call in a school to report a bomb threat or a shooting. Some school districts investigated and found nothing to be worried about. Many of our schools are being inundated with parent calls this morning asking about these latest threats and their validity. Florida Citrus County school districts, as of Thursday morning, we have not received any indication of credible threats to any of our schools. Baltimore County Public Schools warned parents about students about the trend, but later said the TikTok threat originated in Arizona and is not credible. So again, this seems like it's to be not just one person making these threats, alright? Because in Los Angeles, they thought it was that school, but it originated outside of Los Angeles. Here, they believed it originated in Arizona, but it turned out it wasn't. Let's see here. Mexico has came out, so currently there have been no threats in any of the schools in Mexico. There have been no local credible threats, Ohio's Milford Experimental Village School District said. Let's see here. Like I say, Governor Phil Murphy came out. New Jersey said on Twitter that there are no known specific threats against New Jersey schools. In Arizona, Scottsdale Unified School District said that TikTok threats aren't credible. The schools are taking extra precautionary measures. Anyway, in upstate New York, the superintendents of Janesville DeWitt School District and Baldwin Central School District said they are adding extra security or police presence at the schools on Friday. Alright, so the actual threat made, the newspaper says TikTok challenge labels Friday as National Shoot Up Your School Day and encourages students to make threats against their schools. So, with all that being said, it's great to see that, the schools are taking actions that they need, whether it's shutting down schools, school districts, adding police presence, adding backpack policies, or whatever the case may be. It's good to see that the schools are actually taking precautions. Now, obviously, I'm sure not every single state in America or not every single school in America is taking precautions. Like, I've heard nothing from my state about it. But again, some of these schools said that they feel more threatened or they are more worried. And, that's, they have the resources to look into whether they've been actually threatened more or not, or whether they've received a direct threat. All right. Let me read some of y'all's comments. Yeah, exactly, AAP. Seems like children are the new targets, but also at the same time, it seems like children are starting these trends also. A lot of these children have started trends such as, assault school teachers day or steal stuff from school day or vandalize school bathroom day, stuff like that. So honestly, it's not surprising to see stuff like this with what they see on the media, what they see on the news, and what is talked to them about. It's not surprising that stuff like this has happened. Now, I'm not saying that it is a kid. I'm not saying it's adult because I don't know. But it does seem like it's multiple different people. It seems like there's at least 2 or 3 people that have started this. Because, like I said, Arizona came out, thought it was a threat to their school, but it was actually outside of their district. Los Angeles came out, thought it was a threat to their school, but it was actually outside their district. So none of these schools actually know where the threat is. None of the, stuff like this should be able to be tracked easily. Like, they're tracking us all the time, but they can't track down a school shooting threat. Like, I don't understand. Like, we're being tracked all the time, but they can't track down a school shooting threat. That to me is concerning. That y'all can't track that down. Yeah, I mean, public schools have also gone down a lot. Um, like when I was in public school, it was starting to go downhill, and that was 4 or 5 years ago. So I mean, schools are going down a lot, and that's just the way it is. Schools are going to continue to go down. Now, a lot of people have asked, how do you stop school shooting violence? How do you stop violence at schools? And that's something that needs to be talked about, and nobody really knows how to stop it. A lot of people have said bringing metal detectors in schools, but I mean, you can't put a metal detector in every school. It's not possible. I mean, you could put a metal detector in every school, but there's going to be a lot of things that can set it off. I mean, your phone can set it off, your keys can set it off, so you're going to have so many officers there to sit there and check each student that goes in. And if you don't have enough officers to check the students that are going in, then who's going to, or what if a student comes in late? Okay, let's say there's metal detectors in every school. Say a student comes in late. Alright, they go through the metal detector goes off, but, then what? There's no cop around to check it. Unless you put them, right at the office door, but even if that, okay, so what? Is at the office door. Who's going to be there to stop it? It just doesn't make any sense to put metal detectors in every single school. One, you know how long that's going to take to put metal detectors in every single school? Now, at least in South Carolina, from what I have seen, in my community, there are cops at every single school, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school. Now, obviously, high school has 2 cops, and middle school and elementary school have 1 cops. So, that's a start, but, really, there's really nothing you can do to stop this. You talk to your kids. If you are a gun owner, obviously lock your guns up so that your kids cannot get to them. As far as implementing a no backpack policy, that to me is not a good idea also because one, you have what, like 8 different classes. You have textbooks to carry, you have notebooks to carry, you have, pens, pencils. So what, you expect students to carry this all day around with them? That doesn't make any sense. And they can still conceal a gun in their pants, in their shirt, anywhere. So obviously there's something that can be done. I don't know what it is, but there's something that could be done. Um, as far as shutting down schools, I mean, I don't know. I mean, some students don't do good unless they're in person or around other students. There's just so much that could be done that's not being done, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be thought about that's not being thought about. Yeah, as far as what teachers are talking about, that's another thing. Now, I don't know if I don't think teachers talking necessarily has anything to do with gun violence, but as far as what they're teaching our kids, yeah, that's a whole different subject. That could be teaching them that, certain races are bad, or, if you support this person, you're bad, or, whatever case may be. Yeah, Planned Parenthood is a joke. They're one of the worst people out there to even try to talk about anything. But again, as far as these threats, we'll see. Like I said, I just think it's strange that they track us all day long. All right, the government can sit there and track us, but they can't track down a group or one person that made a threat to public schools all across America. Now, there's not just one school that is experiencing this. This is schools all across America, from Atlanta, Georgia, to California, to Minneapolis, to New Jersey, to New York, down south. All right. And again, some of these schools have received direct threats. So if the school has received a direct threat, whether it be from a email, a social media site, a phone call, a text, a letter, whatever the case may be, there's got to be some way that y'all can track them down, alright? Phone numbers, y'all could easily track that down and track it to the house or the address that they used it from. If it's a text, y'all can track it down the same way it's at a number that you track, alright? If it's a letter, it had to be sent there somehow, and if it didn't get sent there, someone had to drop it off. So all these things are traceable. Alright, email, again, that's very traceable. So again, I just don't understand how this is not being tracked down. Like, y'all should be tracking this down. These are kids' lives that are, like, at risk right now, and it seems like nobody really cares. Like, the school can sit here and send out letters and all this, but if your school has received a direct threat, alright, why are you not shutting down your school? You can sit there and say that it's not a credible threat, and law enforcement can sit there and say it's not a credible threat, alright? But if your school has received a direct threat, why would you not just shut down school that day? Now, I'm not saying that it's going to stop it altogether, but that day it would, alright? And it would give you more time to look into the situation. It would give you Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 3 days to look into it. So why would you not take that opportunity to look into the threat? Because I would hope in 3 days between police and school administrators that you could track down this person who made the threat. That would be my hope, that you could do that in 3 days. But again, some of these people are not even taking these threats seriously. And, some of them are going to be targeting students that miss school days. They will charge them an absence. Now, I believe when I was in school, I want to say it was like 10 for the whole school year or something like that, without a doctor's note. And then you would get in some kind of trouble, whether it be, in school suspension, out of school suspension. But if you got enough, you could be expelled from school. So, with that being said, why would you not take the precautions of letting these students stay home without charging them? Why would you charge a student a tardy when there's direct threats of a school shooting, and yet you still don't want to take the proper precautions to shut down your school. Like, I don't get that at all. And like I said, these threats may not be credible. All right, it might just be a bunch of kids that made this, and they're trying to get views, spark fear, whatever the case may be. Or these could all be credible threats, and now that the schools are shut down, they're waiting until Monday. Or it could be an actual threat, and it could be a group of armed people that are willing to shoot up schools, and maybe they just put these random schools in here to get them to shut down, and they are going to other schools. You know, you don't know what people are, you don't know who lives in your state, you don't know who made these threats. And again, I can't stress that enough. To me, that is a serious problem, that these threats have been made, and some of them are just blowing them off. Like, law enforcement said these are not credible threats, and they're not shutting down schools. School officials said these are not credible threats, and they're not going to shut down schools. New Jersey's governor, Phil Murphy, has come out. Not credible threats, and they're not going to shut down schools. So, why not? Why would you not shut them down? And Texas, like I said, they implemented a no backpack policy, which is fine. But if these students are serious and your school has been targeted in this threat, if somebody really wants to do it, they can stick a gun down there, gun up their shirt. You know, so, I don't know. Me personally, I think all these schools that receive direct threats need to shut down, and they need the school officials and police in every single state need to look into these threats. And again, that gives you 3 days to figure out who made these threats. Now, moving on from that, and again, if any more information comes available on that, or if anything comes up from that, I'll definitely bring it to y'all. Now, if y'all remember about a couple months ago, or maybe not even a couple months ago, it ain't been that long, but Arizona County was going to stop prosecuting drug charges because of their jail population being overcrowded, and they were forcing corrections officers to get COVID-19 vaccines, and many of them have refused. So they are experiencing a crisis right now, but instead of saying, hey, we don't want you to take this vaccine because, you know, one, that should be a choice. But anyways, since they haven't done that, Arizona County Attorney stops prosecuting some drug charges and it plans to reduce jail population. Alright, so, change in policy was announced on Tuesday by Pima County Attorney Lori Conover, who said that her office would decline to prosecute people arrested for simple drug possession, paraphernalia, or related personal use incidents. Those arrested for a drug charge and a felony, however, will be prosecuted. Conover said the change is being made to protect the health of those at the Pima County Jail. She told law enforcement officers to instead deflect people to drug treatment, knowing there's no drug treatment center near the Pima County Detention Center, possibly reviewed in 60 days, according to her. Similar policy adapted by a former Pima County Attorney, Barbara Lawa, in March 2020. I guess that got taken down. Alright, so Joe Watson, Communications Director for the Pima County Attorney's Office, told Fox News that the decision was not made because of the vaccination requirement. Which it was, because when this story first came out, y'all was telling these corrections officers that if they didn't get the vaccine, they would be fired. So that's exactly what it's about. But anyways, let's see what he has to say about it. He said this was a decision made exclusively to protect both the people who work and who are detained inside the jail, as well as protect the community that jail employees return to after every shift. We would be pleased if this policy mitigates to the impact of losing jail employees on January 1st, but that's not why County Attorney Conover made this decision. That's exactly why she made the decision. It's pretty clear why she made the decision. Alright? And if you allow stuff like this to happen, more stuff will spiral out of control. Alright? Again, you can't just stop prosecuting people because y'all are making stupid decisions. And exactly what it is, it's stupid decisions. Y'all are telling corrections officers either you get the vaccine or you're fired. And now none of them want to get it, so you're facing a crisis, and now you're going to start prosecuting people for simple drug charges right now. But what will that turn into later? All right, it will turn into something a lot more serious later, and more people will come to your state, and your state will start to look like places like Portland, California, New York, and places like that. Exactly, Kimberly. It's never been about a virus or anything. Alright, it's never been, it's all about control. That's all it is. It's just control. That's all they want is control, and that's all they're trying to do is take control of people and their lives. And just like here, Cheesecake Factory in New York City, a site of vaccine mandate protests, six people arrested. So 6 people, including an Army veteran, were arrested this week after refusing to leave a Cheesecake Factory restaurant in New York City over a mandate requiring patrons to show proof of vaccination. So you have to have proof of a vaccination now to get into places in New York City. Alright, and I believe this started last Monday, I want to say. Now, the incident occurred Tuesday in Queens when activists against the city's strict COVID-19 rules asked to be seated. The group of around 50 anti-vaxxers ate at a nearby Queens Center shopping mall food court before walking to the restaurant. The beginning of the title is real. I'll go through it real quick. Multiple schools have received direct threats. Texas, Minneapolis, New Jersey, New York, and Minnesota and Minneapolis have received direct threats to their schools. There's a TikTok trend going around calling December 17th National Shoot Up Your School Day. Seems like a group of people, whether it's kids or adults, started a trend to start skipping school day, and somehow it turned into this. Now, some of the posts say that it's used to call in a shooting threat or a bomb threat. Other posts are saying that kids are bringing guns to schools and they're going to shoot up schools. But again, this is not just one isolated incident. This is multiple states. Now, multiple states did close schools. Minnesota closed a lot of their schools. California closed a lot of schools. Texas closed a lot of schools. New York and New Jersey added police officers to extra police officers to schools, but they're not closing schools because they didn't believe it was a credible threat. Some schools in Texas are implementing a no backpack policy, but are not closing schools. But a lot of schools in Texas are closing because they said that their school was in direct threat. A lot of the schools that are closed are actually mentioned in the school shooting threat. That's why they're closed. Like, there's a couple of schools in California and a couple in Texas that actually have the whole school name mentioned with hashtags of shooting, school shooting, and violence back behind it. So they closed their schools out of precaution, which I think is a great idea. You know, every school that was threatened needs to be closed. And again, that gives you 3 days to track down who the person or people are who made the threats, and that gives you ample time to arrest them and find them and deem if these threats are credible or not. But again, to me, I think it's better to take the precaution, close them down. That way you're safe for today. But again, if any information comes out more on that, I'll bring that to y'all. Or if anything happens, I'll bring that to y'all. So, again, I don't know if it was kids that made that threat. I don't know if it was adults. I don't know if the threats are credible. I don't know if they're not credible. No problem. But again, if y'all have kids, I would definitely keep them home today until this passes over. Now, back to this story. The group of around 50, let's see. Alright, so There are about 50 of them that are refusing vaccines at a nearby convenience center, shopping mall, food court before walking to the restaurant. Now, one person is being highlighted. Mitchell Bosch is an Iraq and Afghanistan war veteran who is one of those arrested. In New York City, they use the employees at these restaurants to be police, which is not their job description, enforcing these mandates that, in our view, are unconstitutional and unpatriotic, he said. We want medical choice. Bosch 42 said the group, which included young children, including his 6-week-old daughter, asked to be seated, and they were asked for the vaccination cards, which they did not have. They were denied service, he said. As a form of a nonviolent protest, the group took over a space in the middle of the restaurant, and the police were called when they refused to leave. Bosch said responding officers arrived, and 6 people were arrested and cited for criminal trespassing. They were taken to a police station and given a ticket to appear in court after refusing to comply with lawful orders. Raymond Vallis, 36, who was also arrested, told Fox News he was at the restaurant bar where employees seemed to selectively enforce the rules. There was another gentleman there who was already at the bar who didn't have a vaccination card, who was already served. I'm doing good. How are you doing? The other men arrested are Eric Basin, 38, Greg Young, 37, Augusto Alcron, 39, and 67-year-old Stephen Raviera. Let's see. Alright, a mandate requires people aged 5 and older show proof of 1 vaccination dose for indoor dining, fitness, and entertainment events. So, at 5 years old, 5 years old, you have to show a vaccination card to go in and eat, go to an entertainment event, and fitness, but obviously 5-year-olds aren't going to be working out. But at 5 years old, alright, so, what do you want 5 years old to do? Do you want 5-year-olds to just, carry vaccination cards around with them all the time? That's stupid, alright? Honestly, it's stupid. 5 years old, really? You want a 5-year-old to carry around a vaccination card? It's not going to work. It's not. Honestly, homeschool is, it works for some people, it don't work for some people. But with this day and time, I feel like if I had kids, I would definitely keep my kids homeschooled. Even public schools are not, or even private schools are not the place to be. It's better to just keep your kids at home, honestly. Now, starting December 27th, 2 days after Christmas, 10 days from now, New Yorkers aged 12 and older will be required to show proof of 2 vaccine doses, except for those who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So, at 12 years old, you have to carry around a vaccination card to say that you've had 2 doses of a vaccine. I really don't get it. These are kids. Let the kids live, alright? Part of being a kid, especially the younger, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, alright? They're going to be running out, playing. They're going to get dirty, alright? Let the kids, build their immune systems up. That's how you build your immune system up. Not taking a vaccine, alright? Now, obviously, people are like, well, what about measles? What about mumps? What about polio? What about this? What about that? Okay. That was all 1 shot. Alright? That was 1 shot and you're done for the rest of your life. Right? That was 1 shot, done. Alright? And again, polio crippled people. Alright? Polio is one of those things where you could be crippled for life. Alright? Mumps and measles was a pretty serious thing. Alright? COVID-19 is like the flu. Alright? That's what it is. It's like the flu. And yet, like I said, polio crippled people. Mumps, measles are pretty serious things. 1 vaccine, you're done for life, but COVID-19 comes around. Less than a 2% death rate. Alright? But yet, we're requiring kids to get it. We're mandating people to get it. And we're mandating kids to get it now, and they have to carry around vaccine cards starting at 5 years old. And if they don't have a vaccine card, they cannot go into restaurants, they cannot go into fitness centers, and they cannot go to entertainment centers. So, like, I don't get it. Now, they go on to say, we have had a tough over 20 months already here in New York City. We can't even simply, as a family or friends, gather at a place to go ahead and have lunch or dinner or breakfast indoors. We cannot stop the economy and human society based off of this. This is illogical and, in my opinion, immoral. Now, here is President Biden taking a page from the governors of Florida and Texas who have largely been against mask and vaccine mandates. Alright, and that's true. Biden, where do we start with you? Like, there's so much to say with Biden. Alright, let's just start. Alright, if COVID-19 is serious, why has he been caught multiple times without a mask? Not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, not 5, but like 6, 7, 8, 9 times now he's been caught without a mask, whether it be in public, whether it be going to people's houses, whether it be going to grocery stores, shopping centers. So why are you not wearing a mask? Alright, and another thing, someone brought up to me a great point, and I didn't even think about it. Alright, so when they do these news conferences, there was one 2 or 3 weeks ago. Alright, so Biden was up there talking, and Fauci was up there talking. So, they're both wearing masks when they're not talking, alright? So, Joe Biden goes to talk, he takes his mask off, he speaks into the microphone, right? Alright, he walks away, puts his mask back on. Fauci comes up and talks, he takes his mask off. So, they're speaking into the same microphone here. So, what good is taking the mask off doing? Speaking into the microphone, you're going to put it right back on. If it's so contagious and so deadly, why don't you just leave it on while you're talking to the microphone? Wouldn't that make more sense? Instead of taking it off, risking everything if it's so deadly? Let me read some of y'all's comments here. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Juice. Like, you never know what to believe anymore. You never know. Anything could happen. Yeah, exactly. Media is a big part in this. Again, when you turn on the radio and there's a commercial on, first thing you're gonna hear about is take the vaccine. TV on, take the vaccine. Like it's crazy. Yeah, Juice, I'm definitely not on that train. I'm not. There's nothing you can do to make me take it. I don't care if you offer me $10 billion, a new house, and a new car. Like, not taking it. Exactly, Vic. That is 100% right. Again, people would probably take it if it wasn't shoved down our throats. Like, honestly, people would probably take it if it was not shoved down our throats every 10 minutes that we are alive. Like, every time you turn on the radio, every time you watch TV, every time you do anything, it's about this. And look at Australia. Australia is a prime example. Prime example. They are literally taking people to concentration, or I call it concentration camps, you can call it whatever you want. They're taking people to camps, and because they believe they may have had contact with someone who had COVID. So, you believe they had contact with someone who had COVID, so you are taking them to these camps. Alright? Another thing, Greece. They are mandating vaccines for people over 60. If you don't take the vaccine, you face a $5,000 fine every month. So it's pretty much like, hey, either you take the vaccine or you face $5,000 fines. And nobody has $5,000 every month. Like, who the hell has $5,000 every month to just, give people? Nobody has $5,000 a month. Like, even if you make, $1,000 a day, that's a lot of money to give just random people every month just because you don't want to take something. I haven't heard anything about them, like I said, I've kept up with New Zealand and Australia because they are the big ones. Sri Lanka's been pretty bad too. But again, when Greece came out and said that they're mandating shots for people over 60, to me that's scary. And again, Australia is telling you, hey, if we think you may have come in contact with someone who has it, you're gonna be taken to this camp whether you like it or not. And again, then you got people locked down in their doors, and Australia, you got people locked down in their houses, saying that they can't leave. Uh, what is this? This is coming to America, and this is why people in America are standing up now. And people are like, oh no, y'all are just conspiracy theorists, y'all are terrorists, and all. Like, no, this is coming to America, and Joe Biden and all of them are part of it. That's why he won the election. Wasn't fair, but that's why he won, to cause this. I'll have to check it out after this and see what's going on there. I haven't heard nothing about that, but I'll definitely check it out when I get off here. But again, this whole thing is about, to me, it's about control. I don't think it's about, again, there's no proof to show that it's this deadly. Like, it's not. You Again, everybody has their personal choices, though. Everybody that I talk to, though, is pretty much on the same page as me, obviously. That's why I associate with them. But again, I just want to bring this to y'all real quick. Couple stories. Again, the biggest one is about the school shooting threats that are being made all across America. So, if anything comes about that, I'll definitely let y'all know. If any information comes out, such as arrest or more threats, I'll bring that to y'all. But, hopefully nothing comes about this, and, I don't know. But when you have the schools directly involved in this, it's hard to say. Could be kids that just want views, attention. Could be adults that are serious. Could be kids that are serious. You never know. And again, unfortunately, this is something that we have come to deal with in America. Police do have plans in place for situations like this if one does evolve. But again, I think the schools need to do more in these states that are not shutting down. Law enforcement needs to take more action. School officials need to take more action into looking into this. But TikTok did say that they are working with law enforcement and they are looking into these threats and they are taking everything seriously. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, honestly, these people that want violence and all this and want to try to take over cities, they need to go start their own thing somewhere off in an island somewhere. All these people that are crying about racism and see if they want to destroy everything and, y'all are oppressed and everything. What y'all need to do is just fly away. Go. LeBron James, Lori Lightfoot, all y'all can leave. Y'all can leave and just go to an island somewhere and be happy, destroy it, put Black Lives Matter on everything, take over city blocks, cry that you're oppressed, whatever you want to do it, and just leave all of us people alone that we want to, that actually want to live a normal life. Alright, Vic, yeah, there will be a comment section left up after the live stream, but again, be careful how you word it because YouTube will take it down if they feel like it's anything that is against what they call community guidelines. I don't know what their community guidelines are. But a lot of people have their comments removed. YouTube takes likes away all the time. So again, just be careful how you word it if you find that. But again, I'm going to get off for now. Y'all have a great day. Again, if I don't see y'all again today, that means nothing came of these threats and nothing serious has happened today. If I see y'all again, then obviously something has happened. But either way, I'll keep y'all updated. Y'all have a great day. As always, thank y'all for watching. If y'all watching this later, and y'all have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer y'all. And like I said, y'all stay safe out there.